Hello, and welcome to Muscle for Life. I am Mike Matthews. Thank you for joining me today for a Q&A episode, number 68, that I have recorded where I answer questions that people ask me over on Instagram. So what I do is every couple of weeks, I put up a story asking for questions. People submit a bunch of questions. I pick ones that are interesting or topical or new, unique, and I answer them briefly there on Instagram, and then I bring everything over here to the podcast and answer them in more depth and detail. And so if you want to ask me your questions, follow me on Instagram at Muscle for Life Fitness, watch my stories, submit your questions, and I will see them. I can't answer most, of course, because I get a lot, but I do look at all questions, and I do really try to pick the ones that I think my followers and my listeners and so forth will enjoy the most. And so today's questions are all over the place per usual. We have a question here on the optimal rest times for different rep ranges, how to modify my Beyond Bigger, Leaner, Stronger program for cutting, how long you can stay in an aggressive calorie deficit before you start losing muscle, some of the things that I think makes life better and makes life worth living, how the quality of your diet can affect your injury risk and affect your ability to recover from your training, and more. Before we commence with today's episode, I need to tell you about the biggest sale of the year going on right now over at my sports nutrition company, Legion. So from now until December 4th over at buylegion.com, that's BYLEGION.com, when you buy any one of our supplements, you will save 50% on the next one that you buy. And in addition to that, we're also offering free gift cards on all orders over $99. So it's a free $10 gift card on orders over $99. It's a $20 gift card on orders over $149 and a $40 gift card on orders over $199. And so what that means is you can save very bigly on all of Legion's most popular products, like our whey protein isolate, our pre-workout, our post-workout multivitamin fish oil, creatine powder, creatine gummies, energy drink, and much more. Now, none of that is to say that you need supplements to achieve your fitness goals, to build muscle, to lose fat, to get healthy. You do not. However, the right ones can help. And why should you buy the right ones from Legion rather than a competitor? Well, a few things. With Legion, you get clinically effective ingredients and doses. And so what that means is every ingredient and every dose, which is important, in our supplements is backed by peer-reviewed scientific research demonstrating clear benefits, and all of that research is openly cited on every product page, so you can fact-check us on every claim that we make. Legion's products are also naturally sweetened and flavored, and while artificial sweeteners may not be as dangerous as some people claim, I am not an alarmist about these chemicals. Studies do suggest that regular consumption of these chemicals may indeed be harmful to our health, and so you won't find any of them in Legion's products. In addition to no artificial sweeteners, Legion's products also contain no artificial flavoring, no artificial food dyes, no artificial fillers, and no other unnecessary junk. All of my products are tested for purity and potency in an ISO 17025 accredited lab, which screens for heavy metals, microbes, allergens, and other contaminants to ensure that my products meet FDA purity standards. All of Legion's supplements are also made in the USA with globally sourced ingredients in NSF-certified, FDA-inspected facilities that adhere to current good manufacturing practice standards. And finally, Legion offers a no return necessary money back guarantee that works like this. If you don't absolutely love our stuff, you let us know and we give you a prompt and courteous refund. You don't have to fill out forms. You don't even have to return anything to us. And all of that is why Legion has sold over 5 million bottles to over 1 million customers who have left us over 45,000 5-star reviews on our website and on Amazon. And all of that makes Legion the #1 brand of natural sport supplements in the world. So again, go to buylegion.com now, Save some major coin on everything in our store and see for yourself why scientists, athletes, doctors, and everyday fitness folk alike trust Legion for all of their supplementation needs. Andy Frada asks, what's your rest period when doing sets of 6 to 8 reps versus 4 to 6? So for 6 to 8, it's usually about 2.5 minutes on isolation exercises, maybe 2 minutes if I'm running out of time, and 3.5 minutes on compound exercises, 3 minutes if I'm running out of time. And 4 to 6, it's going to be probably also 2.5 minutes on isolation and then a little bit less on compounds, 3 minutes, because the higher rep sets on the compound exercises, especially when they're taken close to failure, are more metabolically demanding. They're more cardiovascularly demanding. And so I like to take a little bit more time to recover from those versus the 4 to 6, especially with heart rate and breathing. Big Tim 27 asks, BBLS, so that's Beyond Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, a book I wrote, sequel to Bigger, Leaner, Stronger with a different program, on a cut or make any changes. You can do Beyond Bigger, Leaner, Stronger on a cut, but I would recommend reducing the total set volume by about 1/3. And my preference for BBLS when cutting would probably be the 3-day program rather than an abbreviated 5-day program. And then using those off days for cardio. I think that would produce the best and the fastest body composition results, because if you are running BBLS, you are an experienced weightlifter, you are not new. So you know that you are not going to gain any muscle or strength to speak of while you're cutting. And so unless you just really like being in the gym lifting weights, you want to use your weightlifting to preserve your muscle and strength, and then you want to use your cardio to accelerate the fat loss. So again, I think 3 days of intense lifting, which in the case of BBLS would reduce your total weekly volume by about 1/3 compared to the 5-day program. That's enough. That's great for maintaining muscle and strength. And then you can use the extra exercise time that you've now opened up to do more cardio, which is going to be more effective per unit of time for burning fat. Charlie O'Mac Isaac asks, how long can I stay in an aggressive cut, 50% of maintenance calories before muscle loss? For men, you can do that until probably about 25% body fat, at which point you have to slow down. You have to shrink that deficit, maybe to, let's say, 75% of maintenance calories, or you will start losing muscle. When you have a lot of fat to lose, and this has been shown in research, you can aggressively cut calories and you can exercise and you can even gain muscle, especially if you're new to weightlifting. But again, as you get leaner, there is a point where you are going to start losing muscle if you are being too aggressive with your calorie restriction. And for women, that cutoff is probably around 35% or so. So if a woman is above 35% body fat and she feels up to eating, let's say, 50% of maintenance calories, now, of course, it needs to be high protein. I would recommend getting as much carbohydrate in there as you can as well, eating nutritious foods, filling foods, et cetera, et cetera. But again, if she's over 35% and feels up to a very aggressive deficit, even if it's just for a short period, maybe it's for 4 weeks or so, she can do it, especially if there's some strength training as well to also just prevent muscle loss. Dennis Rathka1 asks, why do you personally train using BLS and not BBLS? So for probably about a year now, I've been doing the 3-day routine for BLS because it's a great maintenance routine. It's actually, I would say, maintenance plus, meaning that you still can make progress on the 3-day BLS routine if you are an experienced weightlifter. And I have made progress with a couple of muscle groups. I've made progress with my quads. That has been noticeable. And I've made some progress in my pulls. And with my quads, I can see it in my training logs. So my numbers have gone up, my strength has gone up, but I can also just see it in my quads. My legs are just bigger now. And in my pulls, I guess I haven't been taking pictures of my back, so I'm not sure how the visual has changed, but I have seen improvements in my numbers. It's just slow. And you have to know that because the weekly volume is 8 to 12 hard sets per major muscle group per week, which is enough to make progress, but probably just enough to make slow progress. And I have been at maintenance calories the entire time. I haven't intentionally been in a surplus for any extended period of time. Now, why BLS 3-day versus BBLS 3-day for maintenance? I guess a couple reasons. One, I was doing the 5-day BBLS program for a couple of years and made good gains across the board, hit PRs, all-time PRs across the board, and just wanted to change it up a bit. And so went back to BLS. And also the BLS workouts are a little bit shorter than the BBLS workouts, probably by 20 minutes or so on average. And that just works better for me because I'm busy and I want to get my workouts in. I enjoy working out, but I really don't want to be spending more time in the gym lifting weights than I need to, at least not right now. I need to tell you about my best-selling fitness book for women who want to lose up to 35 pounds of fat or more and gain whole body muscle definition in just 3 to 5 hours per week and without giving up delicious foods or doing grueling workouts. Now, the book is called Thinner, Leaner, Stronger, and while it cannot give you a toned Hollywood babe body in 30 days, and it is not full of diet and exercise hacks for gaining lean muscle and melting belly fat faster than a sneeze in a cyclone, it is a science-based nutrition and exercise book that will demystify muscle building and fat loss and show you exactly how to get a lean, strong, and fit physique without spending hours in the gym every day and without giving up your favorite foods like hamburgers or pizza and even ice cream. And the kicker, you will see visible results in the mirror and in the gym in just your first month on the program that comes with the book. Now, how is all of that possible? Well, the truth is, muscle building and fat loss just aren't nearly as complicated as you've been led to believe. You don't have to obsess over clean eating. You don't have to avoid unhealthy foods like sugar or meat or bread. Some foods are more nutritious and should be eaten more frequently than others. That's about it. You also don't have to grind through hours of punishing workouts every week, sweating buckets, getting really sore, training until you are bone tired. Those things are completely overrated for gaining muscle and strength. You also don't have to slog away on the treadmill. In fact, you don't need to do any cardio at all to get rid of belly, hip, and thigh fat. Cardio can help, and cardio is healthy, but you don't have to do it to get into great shape. And those are just a few of the harmful lies and myths that keep women weak and overweight and confused. And in my book, Thinner, Leaner, Stronger, you will learn something that most of those women, unfortunately, will probably never know. And that is how to cut through all the confusion, all the clutter, and create clear, structured, no-nonsense diet and training plans that are tailored to your fitness goals and your circumstances and your preferences. And all of that is why Thinner, Leaner, Stronger is one of the most popular women's fitness books of all time, with over 500,000 copies sold in 13 different languages, and why it has helped tens of thousands of women of all ages and abilities transform their body composition, fitness, and health. The Thinner, Leaner, Stronger system of eating, training, and recovering is also supported by 367 peer-reviewed scientific studies that are referenced in the back of the book. And Thinner, Leaner, Stronger has been regularly revised over the years based on the latest findings in nutrition, exercise, and supplementation research, with the latest version, the 4th edition, released in 2023. So the bottom line is this: you can get that head-turning, beach-ready body without following weird, extreme, or complicated diet, exercise, or supplementation strategies. And Thinner, Leaner, Stronger will show you how. So head over to Amazon, get your copy now, and start your journey to a fitter, leaner, and stronger you. Diego from the Sierra asks, what is the ideal sodium to potassium ratio in natural bodybuilding? They say reach 1 to 1. Yeah, I would say 4 to 5 grams of each per day is reasonable for people who are sweating a fair amount. If somebody is not exercising much, not sweating much, they probably don't need 4 grams of sodium per day. They probably could cut that in half and be fine, something between 2 and 3 grams per day. And the potassium could be at least 2 to 3 grams. Probably wouldn't hurt them if they were getting up to 4 or 5 grams per day. And to hit those numbers, by the way, you don't need rip-off electrolyte supplements, just so you know. You can just salt your food, teaspoon of table salt has 2.3 grams of sodium. And then for your potassium, you can eat potassium-rich fruit and vegetables. And you can also, if you need to, quote unquote, supplement your potassium with a salt substitute that is potassium chloride rather than sodium chloride. Now, if you are a regular listener, you know that I've dumped on electrolyte supplements many times. I don't sell an electrolyte supplement. Well, my sports nutrition company, Legion, does not sell an electrolyte supplement, even though it is currently our number one most requested product from customers. But a little update here is I am taking a new look at the electrolyte category, the electrolyte supplement, to see if there is a legitimate use case, because the market is big, but that's not enough for me, at least. I don't sell products just because I can make money with them. They also need to have a solid scientific grounding. And so far, my opinion has been that electrolyte supplements simply do not. And I've openly said I would love for people who disagree with me to reach out and share research, maybe that I'm not aware of, or arguments that I haven't thought of. And so far, I have had some people reach out, but it hasn't changed my mind. However, I have been working with the people I work with on formulations who know a lot more about supplements than I do, frankly, to look deeper into the existing literature to see if there is any valid use case for such a product. I already know that you cannot honestly sell an electrolyte supplement as necessary or even beneficial for everyone. That's just a flat out lie. However, we have drilled down to people who are doing longer, intense workouts in high temperature environments, so they're sweating a lot. And it's possible that having an electrolyte supplement, having some sodium in particular, is really what matters before or during those workouts may slightly improve performance, may slightly improve mood during the workouts, may slightly reduce the perceived effort in those workouts. It's not clear yet. This discussion is ongoing and the review of the research is ongoing, but we may be able to make an argument that the sodium is going to help with water retention, and there is good research on that. You could just call that better hydration, I guess, but I think that it's helpful to be more specific. We're talking about better fluid retention. And so if that can help you stay better hydrated during these longer, intense, very sweaty workouts, then you could expect certain benefits based on other good research on the effects of hydration and dehydration. However, the key question, and I don't have an answer to this yet, I just posed this question a day or two ago, is how do the benefits of water before and during these workouts compare to water plus sodium? The benefits of just water, well established. Now, if you add sodium, do you experience further benefits? Because no matter what the mechanistic research says about sodium and quote unquote improving hydration, if it doesn't produce any noticeable or meaningful benefits in reality, if adding sodium to that water that you're drinking before or during the long, intense, sweaty workout doesn't actually change anything that you can notice, then why bother, right? Now, I know that electrolyte shillers are going to say, wow, a lot of people who are into fitness and who eat well, they don't eat enough sodium, so they can take the supplement to get enough sodium, and that's going to benefit them. No, that brings me back to the point I made previously. Just use table salt. Save yourself money. And so then, if adding the sodium to the water before the workouts doesn't really do anything, and if you should just use table salt to supplement your sodium intake if you are not getting enough sodium, you can just put sodium in water, for example. Again, a teaspoon, 2.3 grams of sodium. You could just put a teaspoon in some water in the morning and drink it and realize that that's really all you're getting with the electrolyte supplements. You're just getting massively marked up, overpriced, flavored sodium with a little bit of potassium and a little bit of magnesium. And if you do that to make your water tasty, I guess, and that's the main benefit is tasty water, then I suppose go ahead and spend the money. But I don't think I can sell an electrolyte supplement simply as something to make your water tasty. Not a great sales pitch. Although it might be kind of funny if I were to do that, if I were to just summarize what I've explained here and in previous episodes and what I've written about, showing that these supplements are not going to do basically anything that these other companies claim unless you are not eating enough sodium. And even then, there are dubious claims that probably are also not true, even if you are going from inadequate to adequate sodium intake. However, if you refuse to salt your food, which is what I'd recommend, if you refuse to mix a little bit of salt into water, if you don't want to salt your food, which is what I'd recommend, and you just want tasty water that also supplements your sodium intake, as well as your potassium, maybe magnesium, all right, here you go. I guess it's worth considering because it would be honest, at least, and people would probably find it amusing, at least some people would, because it's not the sales pitch that you're used to hearing. And the product wouldn't be harmful so long as someone isn't massively overdosing with sodium. And so maybe that's where it's going to go. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Lyndon Sepp asks, what do you think makes life better / worth living? 10 things. 1, lifting weights. 2, eating plants. 3, and yes, eating meat is okay. And I recommend eating meat as well, but most of your calories should actually be coming from plants because that means fruits and vegetables and seeds and legumes and whole grains and so forth. Anyway, 3, speaking less, listening more. 4, getting enough sleep. 5, reading books, reading good books, reading hard books, reading books that challenge your thinking. 6, rejecting the current thing. 7, doing work that matters to you. 8, asking good questions. 9, refusing to get offended. And 10, not parroting stuff you hear in the news. Luke M81 asks, do belt squats still train core? Yes, they do. In fact, research shows that using a belt increases core activation, not decreases it. However, using a belt too often, so let's say if you are always using a belt, all hard sets of all your relevant compound lifts, like your squats, your deadlifts, your overhead presses, for too long. So if you're doing that, all hard sets for many months, it's not optimal because it can subtly lead to and kind of train in worse form. And it can also mask growing problems. So for instance, if you can't painlessly perform a big lift with a heavy amount of weight for you without a belt, something is wrong and you want to address that. You don't want to cover it up with the belt and just keep going. I've made that mistake myself. Marcus JB asks, can a poor diet contribute to injuries or inhibit recovery? For example, muscle/tendon tears and strains? Yes, absolutely. And in several ways. 1, higher levels of inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. 2, impaired immunity, which increases the risk of illness. 3, nutritional insufficiencies that impair many processes related to recovery and injury prevention. 4, worse sleep quality. And 5, impaired muscle recovery if protein and or carbs are too low. So pay attention to your nutrition and pay attention to the micronutrients, not just the macronutrients. Mateo Tats asks, if I didn't get optimal or okayish sleep, how should I train that day? Should I train that day? So yes, you can train. In fact, research shows that physical activity for 25 to 65 minutes a day eliminates the increased mortality risk associated with poor sleep patterns like difficulty falling asleep, having sleep disturbances in the middle of the night, and long sleep. So keep exercising. Force yourself to do it. Mercifully and graciously loved asks, why should I buy the new Legion vitamin C product? Sell me. Well, because if you don't buy my stuff, I die. Another question from the same person. Best lifting belt? Well, personal preferences vary, of course, but I really like the company Pioneer. I like their 10 millimeter single prong belt. And if you want a lever belt, Inzer Forever Lever is a great product. Moeen S. Smalley 92 asks, 4-Hour Body book, why pseudoscience is so successful in sales. So yes, 4-Hour Body is full of pseudoscience. Don't waste your time with it. And the reason why such books are so successful, it's a few things. 1, humans find compelling narratives much more interesting and more persuasive than boring data and facts. And so If you only care about acquiring status and money, it's much more important to become a great storyteller than a true expert, especially when you tell stories related to history and science, because those two things are especially persuasive when combined with high quality storytelling. Another reason why bullshit like the 4-Hour Body is so successful is humans love to imitate others. So nothing succeeds like success, the Matthew principle, and so forth. And finally, there is the halo effect of his celebrity and a lot of the work that he has done in the podcast space, a lot of which has been good. Pictures for My Grandma asks how to get out of a funk and start getting up early, working out, and get off my phone. So I would recommend clearly formulating at least one goal that directly or indirectly is related to fitness and that excites you, and then decide that not accomplishing it simply isn't acceptable, because that process is the only way anyone gets to anywhere worth getting to. Peter G. Dewitt asks, is an upper-lower split 5 times a week too much with BLS? No, that can work, but I would recommend setting it up like this. So 3 upper or lower body workouts per week and then 2 of the other rather than a 4-1. I would also recommend alternating between the workouts in the following way if you're training on weekdays. So day 1 would be upper or lower. Day 2 would be the other that you did not do on day 1. And then day 3 would be the same as day 1. Day 4 would be the same as day 2. And then day 5 would be the same as day 3. And by same, I mean same muscle groups, upper or lower. You may be doing different exercises in those workouts, and you probably should be, but again, same muscle groups. And then if you are willing to train on the weekends, I would do it like this. So I would do day 1, upper or lower. I would do day 2, the other. I would do day 3, rest. Day 4, same as day 1. Again, same muscle groups. Day 5, same as day 2. Day 6, same as day 4. And then day 7, I would rest. RSA Dog asks, have you ever started a workout, say push day, and had to leave? Do you pick it up later? Yeah, that's happened. It doesn't happen often, but it has certainly happened. And it is totally fine to do 2 half workouts in a day if you have the time and inclination. Otherwise, you can do, let's say, half of the workout that you got done, and then you could skip the other half. Or do the missed half over the rest of your workouts by, for example, doing a few sets you missed at the end of subsequent workouts. That's totally fine too. So let's say you did half of your pull workout and now you have a lower body workout. And then at the end, you're just going to do 3 or 4 sets that you missed on your pull workout. Totally fine. You can think of training volume kind of like calorie intake in this way. You can look at it over the course of a week rather than just an individual day, because your weekly numbers matter more than your daily numbers with both calories and training volume. You just want to make sure that by the end of the week, you are more or less where you want to be in terms of your calories and your training volume. And if we're going to talk about macronutrients, you would also want to apply that thinking to your protein intake in particular. Well, it's getting to be about that time, but first I need to tell you about a new energy drink that I think is the perfect alternative to coffee or pre-workout when you want a boost to get through a workout or maybe through an afternoon slump. And this new energy drink is my own, of course. It's from my sports nutrition company, Legion, and it is naturally sweetened and flavored, and it contains clinically effective doses of 8 ingredients that are scientifically proven to increase energy, focus, mood, strength, and stamina, and do those things without a caffeine crash or other unwanted side effects. Now, that doesn't mean that my energy drink is going to supercharge your nervous system for explosive energy and maximum mental and physical performance. And it does not mean that it's going to crush fatigue and procrastination and give you an unfair advantage inside and outside of the gym. It can't do those things because, well, it's not meth, which is all beer and Skittles until you are ripping out your eyeballs with a butter curler. But 40 peer-reviewed scientific studies support the effectiveness of my energy drink's precise combination of ingredients and doses. My energy drink is naturally sweetened and flavored and contains no artificial sweeteners, flavors, food dyes, fillers, or other unnecessary junk. Every can is analyzed for purity and potency in a state-of-the-art ISO 17025 accredited lab. My energy drink has a clean and transparent label that shows exactly what is in every can and what's not, so there are no proprietary blends, no hidden ingredients. And finally, my energy drink is made in the USA with globally sourced ingredients in FDA-inspected facilities that adhere to current good manufacturing practice standards. But wait, there's more. Because while my energy drink contains a few ingredients that you would expect, like naturally sourced caffeine, taurine, B vitamins, it also includes clinically effective doses of two premium ingredients that you don't typically find in an energy drink because they are expensive. And they are the patented suntheanine form of L-theanine and the patented cognizine form of citicoline. And those two ingredients, plus the other ingredients in my energy drink, are why it is more than just another tasty hit of caffeine, but it's also a powerful mood and mind booster. And so if you want to give my new energy drink a try, you can get 20% off your first order by going to buylegion.com/energy. That's BYLEGION.com/energy and using the coupon code MUSCLE at checkout. And then if you don't like it and whatever else you might buy from Legion for whatever reason, all you have to do is let us know and we will just give you your money back. You don't even have to send anything back to us. So again, go to buylegion.com/energy now, try my energy drink risk-free, and see for yourself why I think it is the perfect clean energy beverage. And don't forget that coupon code MUSCLE at checkout because it's going to take 20% off your first order. Well, I hope you liked this episode. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, subscribe to the show because it makes sure that you don't miss new episodes. And it also helps me because it increases the rankings of the show a little bit, which of course then makes it a little bit more easily found by other people who may like it just as much as you. And if you didn't like something about this episode or about the show in general, or if you have ideas or suggestions or just feedback to share, shoot me an email, mike@muscleforlife.com, muscleforlife.com, and let me know what I could do better or just what your thoughts are about maybe what you'd like to see me do in the future. I read everything myself. I'm always looking for new ideas and constructive feedback. So thanks again for listening to this episode, and I hope to hear from you soon.